Hello and good morning. Let's take a look here. Well, what does M mean? M is 1,000, L is 50, and D is 500. So how do you write this? Well, C is 100, so it's going to be four of these. And then 50 is going to be five X's. But we want to get rid of one, so we want to put an I and an X. Is the way I would do it. And you can check that online if you like. Okay, remember, homework and classwork is due. In the very first page I should see is Albert I.O. And if it's not the first page, you will lose points automatically, even if you turned it in. The very first page. It should be all the problems and work. And then it should go Monday through Thursday. All right, so let's turn our attention now. What I want you to do, and what we're going to try to do, is work this problem here. We're going to convert bases. So let's take a look. Copy that one down. Okay, this one is in base 4. So the very first thing you do is put 4 to the 0 power. 4 to the first power, and then 4 to the second power. Now you expand it out, so it's going to be 4 times 4 to the second, plus 3 times 4 to the first, plus 2 times 4 to the 0 power. 4 times 4 is 16, and by the way, I have calculators up here. You can borrow one. Make sure you put them back, okay? Also, if there's writing on your desk, make sure you report it, okay? Anyway, this is going to be 64, right? 4 times 16. 3 times 4 is 12, and this is a 1, so 2 times 1 is 2. When you add that up, you should get 78. Verify that. We now convert it from base 4 to base 10, but they want us to change it to base 7. Okay, so draw a line. Pay attention now. Put 78 and draw a vertical line and put a 7 here. Now pay attention. 7 goes into 7 once. 7 goes into 8 once with 1 left over. Remainder of 1. 7 goes into 11 once with a remainder of 4. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Remainder of 4. Okay? And then 7 goes into 1 0 times with a remainder of 1. Go from the bottom up. So 141, base 4. Actually, base 7. Okay? So that's how you do it. What I want you to do now is try this one. It's in base 8. I want you to convert it to base 10 and then to base 4. So how would you do it? You would put 8 to the 0, 8 to the first, 8 to the second. So it's 1 times 8 to the second plus 2 times 8 to the first plus 7 times 8 to the 0 power. Okay? So when you convert all of this out, what do you get? Well, this is 64 times 1. 2 times 8 is 16. And 7 times 1 is 7. And when you add that up, you're going to get 87. So now we have 87 base 10. And we want to convert it to base 4. So draw a line, put 87, and then put a vertical line and put a 4. 4 goes into 8 2 times. 4 goes into 7 once with a remainder of 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 goes into 21. It goes into 25 times. And that's 20 with a remainder of 1. And then finally, 4 goes into 5 one time with a remainder of 1. And then 4 goes into 1 0 times with a remainder of 1. So I get, going from the bottom up, 1, 1, 1, 3, base 4. Okay? And that's what I'm going to do. Today you have this worksheet right here, and I want you to copy it down. Copy all of these down first. Okay? So this one is in base 10 because it doesn't say. This one is in base 7. I'll make it a little bigger so you can see it back there. If you're at home, you can copy this down. So put board work, put a date, and then put Monday, week 4-2. Make sure you copy it and show work. Let's turn our attention now to college algebra. Okay, so on Monday, or actually Friday, you had to find the domains of these. Well, here, you don't want the square root of a negative number. So you want to say 2x minus 10 has to be greater than or equal to 0. Move the 10 over, and that becomes a positive 10. Divide, and you get x is greater than or equal to 5. So it can equal 5. Because if it equals 5, 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 minus 10 is 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. And let me take that back. You can't have 5 over 0, so we want to get rid of those. So we're going to say greater than 5, 5.1. All right, so on this next one, we don't want the bottom to be 0. So we're going to say 3x minus 24 has to be greater than 0. Move the 24 over, and you get 3x is greater than 24, and then divide by 3, and you get x is greater than 8. But up here, you don't want a negative number. So you're going to say x is greater than or equal to, or all of this, x squared minus 25 is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so up top, you can have the square root of 0. So that's why you can have it equals. Move this over, and you get x squared is greater than or equal to 25. X is greater than or equal to plus or minus 5. And there it is. Okay? All right, let's turn our attention. Graph number 1 and number 2. So get your calculator out, and let's try to graph these. So on your calculator, you want to graph 5 divided by the square root of 2x minus 10. That's the first one. And then the second one we're going to graph is the square root of x squared minus 25 over 3x minus 24. Let's take a look at those graphs. If you need a graphing calculator, get up and grab one. Make sure you put them back, okay? All right, now we're going to turn our attention to the book. Open your book to page 187, and I'm going to grab my book as we're talking here. So on page 187, we want to take a look at example 1. So here it is right here. So page 187, and what they want us to find, and I'm going to make this bigger so of course we can see it even though you have a book under your desk. What they want you to find here is f of negative 1. That's the first thing. Okay? It says state the domain. And let's see what else. All right, and the values of these. Okay, so the domain is your x. So if you look sideways, that's your x. So your x can go from negative 1, see it right there? It can go from negative 1 all the way to 5, right there. But it can include this one. So for A, you want to say negative 1 is included, and then you want to go to 5 with the parentheses. And that should be the answer for that one. The next one, they want you to evaluate f of negative 1. Well, that's your x. So if x is negative 1, your y is 1. So 1 should be the answer, and it is. See it right here? Okay. If your x is 2, you want to go over to 2, your y is a negative 3. So that's your answer for B, negative 3. And then finally, the range of f. The range is up and down, so that's your y. So it goes from 3 all the way down to negative 3. And they're both included. So it should be like this, 3 to negative 3. And if you look in the book a little bit further down, that's what they have. And actually it should be 3 and then negative include it, okay? And again, that's what they have down here. Okay, so I guess it could go either way. 3 and -3 or -3 and 3, okay? Turn the page. Let's look at example 2. You already know the vertical line test. We went over that. Okay, so let's take a look. So on this one right here, if you draw the vertical line, it hits 2 points. So this one is not a function. I'm on page 188. Okay, on this one right here, it only hits 1 point. This one would only hit 1 point. Up in here, the function is undefined. Okay, that's what that means, if it doesn't hit anything. Let's go to example 3. Example 3, we're going to find the zeros. So look up here. I want you to copy this one down right here. And we're talking about example 3. Let's take a look. So on this one right here, to find the zeros, you're going to set it equal to 0. And then you got to factor it. Now this one right here, you're going to take 3 times 10 and get 30. And you're looking for something that gives you 1. It's got to be 6 and 5, right? Because if you subtract, you get 1. So put x. Actually, you got to substitute here. So it's going to be 3x and then some substitute minus 10. So that's going to be 6x and 5x. And we want a positive, so put the plus there and put the minus there. So we got to do group factoring on this one. Okay, remember these are the harder ones. So you're going to take out a 3 and an x. And you're left with 1 plus 2. And let me take a look at this. This should be 3x squared. Okay, verify that. So in this case, we're going to be left with 1x, or x plus 2. And then here we're going to take out a -5. And when we do, we're left with x plus 2. Now we're going to take out an x plus 2, and we're left with 3x minus 5. And there it is. So you're going to set it equal to 0. You get a -2. And this one, you move the negative, it becomes a positive, and you divide by 3, and there it is. And that's how you find the zeros. Copy this one down. And actually, I want to graph this one. So get your calculator and graph that one, and we're going to find it graphically, the zeros. Let's look at this one. You're going to set this equal to 0, so you're going to say the square root of 10 minus x squared is equal to 0. Then you're going to square both sides, and you're going to get 10 minus x squared is equal to 0. And then you're going to move this over, and you're going to get 10 is equal to x squared. X is equal to plus or minus the square root of 10. 3 times 3 is 9, so it's going to be plus or minus 3 point something. Graph this one, and let's take a look. Last one, let's find the zeros. So we're going to set it equal to 0. So we're going to say 2x minus 3 over x plus 5 is equal to 0. We're going to multiply both sides by x plus 5. When we do that, we're going to get 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. We're going to move that over and get 3 divided by 2. All right, now graph this one, and let's see if that's where it hits the x-axis. A 0, write this down. A 0 is where the graph hits the x-axis. Okay, memorize that. Put a star by it. All right, today you have this work right here. Make sure you copy the problems and show your work. If you get stuck, check your answer and then work backwards. If you can't figure it out, ask for help. Have a good morning.